Welcome to Daily Life Connection. Thank you for joining me again as we continue to explore hindrances to knowing the real God. The last couple of days we've been talking about the hindrances that come from us and barriers that we can put up sometimes unintentionally, but we do, to people coming to know God. So, you think you can handle another one today? I hope so, because I want to talk about another kind of hindrance that we put up sometimes as Christians. Again, I'm not trying to judge and condemn because it's not intentional. It's born out of just a misconception of what's really important to God. When we think performance is important to God, all of these things that we're talking about, policing others and us-them mentality, all of that is born out of, if we believe God, performance is what matters most to God, more than relationship. And so, it's yeah, as we change and how we think about that, those barriers will come down. I really believe that. So here's another one I want to talk about today, and it's born right out of that same problem, the problem of performance, and it's the self-righteous Christians. And again, I don't think people intend to be obnoxious about it, but self-righteousness it's a huge hindrance to people coming to knowing God or coming to faith in Christ. It's just huge. Self-righteousness. Why? Self-righteousness is simply my behavior is better. I am doing what's right and avoiding what's wrong. And I'm doing that better than others around me are, better than the non-Christians do. You see, I really think if we believe performance is what's most important to God, then that becomes our proof that we really are His. I think sometimes we think, am I really a Christian? Do I really have faith in Christ? The proof is I'm living better than my neighbors. I'm sorry, but that's just not true. That's not true. There are other religious faiths in the world, and many of them live better than Christians do. So are they the ones that are accepted by God? You see how silly it gets? The reality is, self-righteousness was what made the Pharisees so obnoxious and kept so many people. It's interesting because Jesus said to them, He said, you block the gate to the kingdom of heaven, and even if you do let somebody in, you make them a child of hell. Wow. Self-righteousness. Self-righteousness is that feeling of I'm performing better. Now, the reality is, as I live in relationship with Christ, I do live a healthier, more wholesome, more peaceful, joyful life. Yes, but that's not what makes me righteous. That's the benefits of being in relationship with Him. Huge difference. So what I'm trying to say today is this. Is when we become self-righteous, we don't do this, we don't do that, we do this, we do that. We avoid sins. Basically, self-righteousness is basically living out of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, finding out what's right and wrong, and trying your best to live by those standards, trying your best to live by those standards. Self-righteousness. It's a living well out of our own strength, out of our own human effort. And people around us look at that, and when we somehow portray that makes us more favorable to God, or that's proof that we really are Christians, that we really are in, then it becomes obnoxious because they see the holes in that. I believe this with all my heart. Self-righteousness stinks. It just has a bad smell to it. You get around a self-righteous person, somebody who in some ways is proud of their behavior, how much they read the Bible, how much they pray, how much they give, how much they serve. I mean, it's the elder brother. I've served you all these years. I've obeyed all your commands. That was self-righteousness. He thought that his behavior was what should give him status in his father's eyes. And that self-righteous attitude of the older brother, that really reeks, doesn't it? It really does. And it's just so obnoxious. And I think it's very likely that's part of what drove the younger brother away, was that stinking self-righteousness of the older brother. He just didn't want to be on a farm like that. And I'm just going to be real flat out honest with you today. I have been around people and around churches in my life. I've probably been one of them, to be honest, that their self-righteousness just irritated me and made me want to run and blocked me. And I guess I to be honest, I felt sometimes like, if they're a Christian, I don't think I want to be one. Self-righteousness is disastrous. It's toxic. It stinks. And when we let any of that come into our lives, when there's any sense of accomplishment because of my human effort, to think that somehow that gives me status or favor with God, or it's a sign of spiritual growth. Oh, there's another biggie. My human effort to live better is not a sign of spiritual growth. It's a sign of spiritual self-righteousness. When He does work in me that changes how I live, when He transforms me, I don't have a pride about that because I know I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Sometimes I've had some people say to me, like, "Oh, wow, you're so," and they'll say something really nice. And I go, and inside I'm thinking, I've lived long enough to know that's not who I was. That's a change God has made in me. That's a change His presence. He's conforming me to His image. He's transforming me into becoming more like Him. And all of a sudden I become excited about what He's doing rather than feeling a sense of pride that I've managed to change myself. That makes sense? Self-righteousness is a huge, huge hindrance and a stumbling block to so many people. I just feel like I wish I could just say to all Christians who give in to that performance-based human effort, self-righteousness, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. It's all of what He has done, not anything about what we do. And it's not even wow. It's I know it's a little long today, but this is important. You remember the story Jesus told about the publican and the sinner who went into the temple to pray, and the publican, or the Pharisee, and he basically said this. He said, "I thank God I'm not like other people." He wasn't even taking credit that I thank God I do better. He was thanking God that God made him better than others. And Jesus said that man was not justified. It was the one who was saying, like, "God have mercy, I can't do any. I'm a wretch. I'm hopeless." That's the one who went home justified by God. That's the one who was truly righteous because he received God's righteousness, not his own. That needs to be our prayer today. God have mercy on me, a sinner. I'm not even going to thank God that I'm better than others. That smacks of that pride, doesn't it? Instead of just thankfulness for what He's doing. Anyway, for what He's doing in my life. Another big hindrance to God, self-righteousness as expressed in Christians or churches. Let's thank God and not go there. Let's think about it, and we'll talk again tomorrow. God bless.